You are surrounded by foolish people, and it drains your energy. You may believe your intelligence is your greatest strength, but sometimes it becomes your biggest weakness. The modern world tells you to teach ignorant people and use logic to reach understanding, but Arthur Schopenhauer believed a harsher truth. Logic is powerless against stupidity. Explaining complex thoughts to a fool is not noble. It is mental self-destruction. There is a hidden method used by some of the sharpest minds in history to deal with stubbornly ignorant people without wasting energy on them. When you understand this approach, people with shallow thinking will no longer exhaust you. You have likely experienced this situation before. Sitting in a meeting, at a dinner table, or in an online discussion while someone confidently speaks about something they clearly do not understand. Your mind instantly sees the errors in their reasoning. You collect facts, form a clear argument, and explain it calmly, expecting them to recognize the truth. Instead, they stare at you and repeat their original claim even more strongly. You walk away feeling frustrated and mentally drained, even though you know you were correct. This happens because of what many call the intelligence trap. Intelligent people often assume that others care about truth and will change their opinion when they see clear evidence. But in reality, most people argue not to discover truth, but to protect their pride and prove they are right. Psychology explains this through the Dunning-Kruger effect, a bias where people with low ability possess strong confidence in their incorrect ideas. Ignorance is not passive. It acts like a shield protecting a person's ego. When you challenge a fool with logic, they see it as an attack, not a lesson. Their ego fights back instead of learning. In Thinking Fast and Slow, Daniel Kahneman explained that human thinking works in two systems, one fast and emotional, the other slow and logical. Foolish people rely almost entirely on the fast emotional system, forming opinions quickly and treating them as facts. When you present careful reasoning and evidence, it is like speaking a language they cannot understand. Worse, you spend energy building thoughtful arguments while they spend none simply rejecting them. They do not defeat you with intelligence. They defeat you by refusing to stop arguing. Arthur Schopenhauer realized long ago that truth has little value in debates with fools. Instead of arguing directly, he suggested a different tactic. Push their claims so far that it becomes ridiculous. When someone makes an absurd statement, agree with them strongly and extend their idea to its extreme conclusion. This forces them to confront the weakness of their own reasoning. Often they will begin correcting themselves without realizing it. By doing this, you protect your mental energy and avoid pointless conflict. But using this strategy requires letting go of the desire to prove you are right. Many intelligent people crave the satisfaction of being recognized as correct. Yet seeking validation from a fool is itself foolish. Once you stop needing their approval, their arguments lose power over you. Let them keep their incorrect beliefs. Your responsibility is not to fix them, but to protect your peace of mind. Another important truth is that stupidity can be mentally contagious. Spending too much time around irrational thinking can slowly damage your own clarity. Your brain works harder trying to predict unpredictable reactions and manage frustration, which eventually drains creativity and judgment. Arthur Schopenhauer lived a solitary life partly because he carefully protected his mental environment. He believed intelligent people must maintain distance from foolish behavior, similar to the famous porcupine dilemma, where creatures move close for warmth but must separate to avoid hurting each other. In real life, you cannot avoid foolish people entirely. They may be co-workers, relatives, or neighbors, but you can create psychological distance. When interacting with them, you present a calm social mask, polite, agreeable, and simple. You acknowledge their words without giving them emotional reactions or long explanations. They may think they're winning the conversation, but the illusion of victory keeps them satisfied while your mind remains protected. Some people feel guilty using this approach because society teaches us that everyone deserves explanation and correction, yet stubborn ignorance can be harmful. As explained in The Intelligence Trap by David Robson, collective stupidity has caused major failures in history when confident but mistaken individuals were followed without question. For this reason, you should treat extreme ignorance like a natural storm. You do not argue with it. You simply protect yourself and wait for it to pass. The challenge becomes greater when a foolish person holds power over you. People with limited intellect but high authority often feel deep insecurity. When they encounter someone more intelligent, They may see it as a threat instead of an opportunity to learn. Displaying your brilliance openly can provoke hostility. Schopenhauer warned that showing clear intelligence among mediocre minds often creates resentment. In such situations, subtlety becomes necessary. History provides an example during the Three Kingdoms period when the strategist Sima Yi served under the powerful but insecure regent Chao Shuang. Instead of confronting him directly, Sima Yi pretended weakness until the right moment, eventually gaining control when his opponent underestimated him. The lesson is simple. Intelligence should sometimes remain hidden like a concealed tool, used only when necessary. Many intelligent individuals fall into the trap of believing that if they explain something clearly enough, others will eventually understand. However, research by David Dunning and Justin Kruger shows that people lacking skill often lack the awareness needed to recognize their own mistakes. Because they cannot see their limitations, they also cannot appreciate the expertise of others. Trying to force them to see complex truths often leads only to frustration. Instead of wasting energy correcting everyone, learn to choose where your attention goes. Every hour spent arguing with a fool is an hour taken from your own goals and growth. Your time is valuable, while endless debates rarely produce anything meaningful. Once you stop trying to win every argument, you begin to see human behavior more clearly. You observe how pride, emotion, and insecurity shape people's thinking. This detachment does not make you cold. It makes you free. You understand that intelligence is not about proving yourself in every conversation, but about using your mind where it truly matters. When you release the need to convince those who refuse to understand, a heavy burden disappears. You watch foolish arguments with calm curiosity instead of anger. In that moment, you realize something important. Real power is not winning debates, but directing your energy toward goals that actually improve your life.